Hello, welcome to Talking with ILM Practitioner, volume number 13. My series is becoming a teenager. So welcome. For those who are meeting for the first time, my name is Sahara Morimoto. I am Ilan Love Method practitioner and movement teacher based in Toronto, Canada, offering one-on-one treatments and online movement classes. And today's guest is Tal Govhari, who is an active member and practitioner within the community. And I didn't really realize I had a pleasure of meeting and spending time with him when I was doing my movement course. And I can't remember where he was at, but he was helping with the course I was in, either as an assistant or a guide. And it was really great to have his support and ongoing since then. So I didn't really realize I didn't actually see him so often since then, but because I see him in the videos of here and there or photos, so I feel like I've been in touch with him all the time. But yeah, it's really great that he can join me today. And earlier there was a little bit of technical glitch of finding connection, so I hope this can work. And hi, Michiru. Yeah, it's always so nice to connect people from all over the world and to get to practice with people who I haven't met. And he's somebody who really took me in to practice together during the movement course. I really always appreciated that sense. And where are you, Tal? Are you around? Do, 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 do. Yeah, you joined. Yes. Always feels like a magical moment. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good?
Thank you so much for joining today.
Thanks for the invitation. You also have your tea.
This is coffee. It's still early enough for me.
Yeah, it's the time difference, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, no, thank you for joining.
Yeah, happy to join.
Great. So for those who are meeting you for the first time, maybe do you mind just introducing yourself, who you are, what you do, including ILM?
Including ILM, yeah. And it's nice to know the framework. Well, my name is Tal. I live in Tel Aviv. For most of my life, I've been a musician. I still am, but as time went by since 2017, we went to school together, I think.
Really? No.
For the course.
Oh yeah. In a
I
different.
think so. In a different, yeah. So since I did the ILM course, I've been gradually more and more shifting my life towards treating, and at the moment I'm treating a lot. And also involved in some yeah, there's some stuff to read into that, and also involved in some musical projects, but it kind of shifted over time, and I've been an active part of the school for some years now. Just basically since I finished the basic course, I just did it again and again and again, same with the advanced, until at some point I became a part of it. Um, and I've been, working at the school as an assistant and all kinds of stuff for some years now, doing all sorts of things. We'll probably get to that once we get into stuff, and then, you can ask me more stuff if that's not enough detail. I don't know.
Actually, I was really excited to go online with you today because I realized I know mostly you mostly just from the community, like from the practice. Like I think we mostly talk about how how we can do this and that, mostly about the method. And I actually realized, oh, I don't know so much of you outside. Like I knew, like I don't even know what kind of instrument you play as a musician, or do you play instrument? Are you part of the band?
Mm. So, oh, thanks. It's now
No,
my mind is like opening up to other
like
options.
part of you that I realized, like, oh, I know, I thought I knew you Tom very well, and not really at all, actually. It
So
opens.
that's a good question. Part of my music history. So I mainly play the guitar and bass guitar, uh, but I kind of do everything. Also, I'm a sound engineer and uh, I play other instruments as well. Just finishing up a project, an album, basically. I mean, finishing up. A good friend of mine said, "You don't finish an album, you abandon it." So I'm just about to abandon it, but also let other people enjoy it. Um, in which I play mostly everything, and I did a lot of sound engineering with the help of some good friends. Um, Shout out to Jonathan Levital, another practitioner that helped me a lot with the album and the music. Um, and I've been teaching music for many years. I went to a music academy in Jerusalem to get my, I don't know, is that a bachelor's, like the first one degree? I mean, for the first thing you get in university, not like the next one. uh, so I have a degree in guitar. If I want to scare anyone, um, you know. Um, so I went to music school some time ago, and I've been playing lots of shows when I was younger, and as life gradually changed and my circumstances also changed, different kinds of challenges, maybe personal for the moment. Um, so the music became a bigger challenge for me, um, and that was the point where I inevitably had to start getting to know myself a little bit better. Uh, that's, I think, a nature of crisis, or anyway, it's an opportunity in a crisis, and that's where I started looking into maybe connecting more with my body and myself in ways that were different. I think for me, music has always been such a spiritual practice. It gives me like this connection with the, I call it the infinite or the abstract. Some people call it God or any other kind of names, but I feel that there's like some people call it gamma
Yeah.
frequencies. Um, uh, I feel for me it's like the place or the space where everything is everything, and then it just like kind of forms into whatever it is, and that's where inspiration comes from and all these kind of things. And for me, music has always been a connection to that world and a way to bring something to materialize in this world in some sense. Yeah.
And did you like how did you meet the music? Was it around you all the time since you were a kid, or did you?
Oh, we just had a piano when I was 6. I just started playing it, and then my mom figured out it's a good time to send me to a piano teacher or something. And I was basically self-taught, though. I never did my homework. Uh,
Like the
I still don't. um, I've been consistent at that. Um, and I picked up the guitar when I was 10, and my good friend was studying guitar, and I just like took some tips from him, and I actually taught myself to play the guitar and the bass up until when I was 27 and I went to music school. Um, and I just experimented, and we had like a band since we were like 11 or something, and I was always into creating. Like I was never interested in playing other people's music. I was very interested in playing something that I found beautiful and getting something out of it, but never interested in like being like someone or doing something or accomplishing something like someone. I was always more inspired. Also, to me, it never really mattered like styles or genres. Like for me, like when this kind of essence is in something, so it like Neil Young can totally jam with John Coltrane and Radiohead, as far as I'm concerned. Like they're doing the same thing in a different language, which is fine, but it's not the heart of it. Um, yeah, so I've just been creating and exploring since I was like just a kid. Um, and it's a funny thing because Elon speaks about how certain kind of knowledge can really mess you up. Uh, and I think for me, well, it's an interesting concept, but just I wanted to mention, yeah, that music school definitely did that for me. um, uh, and it's also okay for me because I think the other part, when I go back to the crisis kind of thing, was that I was very connected to this abstract and spiritual world, but found it very difficult to function in this other world we live in, the material one, which ultimately it's the same thing, but as we have genres, we also have different kinds of worlds. So I think there's something you have to give up in order to be human, but there's something you gain by it also. And music school is one example. I mean, in the context of what I said. And the other thing was like connecting with the body, which to me means connecting with the physical world. In my own personal kind of process, it was like challenging the things that were the hardest for me. Because going somewhere and coming back with something was very easy for me, very natural, let's say. Easy sounds like a little bit disrespectful to something so beautiful, but very natural. And then, I think a lot of artist people might get this feeling that the material world is like just, very clunky and clumsy and lacks finesse and nobody gets it and all that kind of stuff. But then you have to kind of find your way in it anyway. And sometimes it just works out, I guess. And more often than not, I guess you have to figure some things out. And at that point, that was when I was, somewhere in the midst of music school, around my 30s. I'm 44 now. So it's been some time. I started exploring inevitably, and because I didn't have a choice, my body and myself in a new way. And I went through all kinds of treatments and things, and some of them still go with me, and I cherish them, and I also still use some of the things. Some things kind of less. Yeah, I guess I got something from everything. And I never took an ILM treatment.
What?
I mean, no, up until there I have, but I mean, in that period or before school anyway.
Oh, I see, right.
Yeah, I did do Feldenkrais for some time, which I loved. And anyway, this kind of twist in the road took me more towards this self-exploration through the material, I think the body is a very nice, interesting intersection between the spiritual and material. But I'm saying material because, yeah, because of the context of what I've said previously. And yeah, and so slowly the music kind of, it's an interesting process because I really like almost stopped doing music only for necessary like making a living kind of thing. And then gradually it came back through this process of getting to know myself again, but in a different way, more subtle, in a different way. And yeah, in those years, I was feeling the urge to help others, mainly my family. Like my grandpa hit his knee or something, something like that, and I was just hanging out there with my dad, and I just put my hands and did like this and that and whatever, and he felt a little bit better. And well, that's the end of the story. That's the moment I decided to go learn ILM. But somewhere on the way, I bumped into the method, and I was a translator, like Dina is. Shout out to Dina. Love you, Dina.
Before yoga?
Yeah, they had these lectures of the end of the year for like homeopathy and Chinese medicine and Ilan's lectures, and it was not on Zoom because the world was real back then. And and nobody has put on a mask yet. Yeah. And I went as to this gig as a translator, and
wait, this is the first time you met Ilan Lev method as a translator?
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. And I heard Ilan's lectures. They used to like go on the blackboard, just a whiteboard, but anyway, with the marker, and he would write like the whole like structure of the lecture before, which some people would find amazing today, I think.
Wow.
And yeah, I think we still have photos of it, and like, and I just saw the headlines, yeah. And I was like, oh, that looks very interesting. And then I was listening to what he was talking about, and something in me just said, oh, this man is like different and special. I want to learn from him. And then I was, thinking and not sure, and thinking and not sure. And then I went to my grandpa, and that thing happened. And then I was like, okay, the Feldenkrais is 4 years. This is just 9 months. Yalla. It seems close enough to me.
Oh yeah. So
Never got
practicing
treatment. Yeah.
Were you practicing Feldenkrais before, or you were just kind of curious with both? Or?
Well, I had friends that were practicing, and I got a treatment here and there, and I was very, and still am very interested in the whole approach and the whole premise of like how and what things are done, which is very different from other things. Like, I mean, you can, of course, anyone can say things are very connected and everything is very connected, but of course, if I stand on the differences, so it's less formulated than other things. And there are many things I like about it, and that's a whole interesting conversation for some other time maybe. So I had some experience with it, and for me it seemed like the closest thing to inspiration, in the sense of like how abstract it was. It's very close to music, and this is something I find about, and it can be argued about Feldenkrais, and but let's argue some other time. But
If it's okay.
that it's, some people say it's more formulated or less, but I had this feeling about it, and I definitely have this feeling about ILM, that it's the closest thing I ever experienced to music, in the sense of like the way it lets you reach out to the infinite and manifest it in something that's very, very, very felt. And in a way, it's even more concrete than music because it's expressed in the body, which is, I mean, yeah. But I mean, music is also expressed in the body, but if you get inspired by something and it becomes a song is still kind of an abstract entity. And a stuck neck, or like a free neck, is something very, very, very simple. And I love how something so magical can be expressed in such a simple way. I think that's just enchanting to me. That's a big thing for me, definitely. And this reminds me of I had one music teacher when I was a kid, and I would never do homework, but he would always find something to do with me. um, and his name was Igal, which is the second Igal I owe a lot of things to. So shout out to both Igals.
Yeah.
And when I had my crisis, I met him, and he just to consult with him, kind of. I don't know. I just found it like a very inspiring person for me. Still do. And he just kind of drew a circle in the air, and he said, "Look, there are many doors to the center of the circle. Just find another one."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Igal knows.
Yeah, maybe.
I found it
So
like interesting, and to hear you say that you've never done your homework or that wasn't your thing, because knowing you, and I think I keep feeling like this is something very common in artists, of like, because when I know you as a island practitioner, you really go in and like your curiosity within to like look for more and search for more, like it's so present that I kind of wouldn't have guessed that you would abandon your homework, because I see you always at work, and but I feel very I'm the same, and I feel like when people say the same thing, oh, I didn't know that you didn't care about the school. People surprise me, get surprised of me of that, and now seeing that on you, I'm like, oh yeah, this is how it feels from the outside, to realize it's not about getting the grades, it's about curiosity within, or something like this.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it was
I think.
surprising
Oh,
for
yeah.
me too.
Sorry, say it again.
I was surprised to know that, oh, like I never really thought that you would not do your homework. Like I thought, yeah, Stal, he will do his homework. So.
Every year at school, I would like buy a new notebook. I thought one would be enough, and I was like, this year, and after a week, I just started drawing, and it was done. It still happens to me. It's like this week, this week. Actually, today I have homework I have to turn in, and I have to do it because it's it's actually work. Um, um, but I think it's very easy to discern homework and dedication. And dedication comes from passion and curiosity, and I think as you grow older, also from some kind of responsibility that resembles homework. But I think as an adult, it's like yeah, it's a different kind of thing to be able to contain this homework option. I still hate doing it. I'm still doing it last minute, and I'm getting messages that like we're waiting for it and da 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 da.
That's so nice to hear from you.
But I love practicing and I love learning, and I'm still practicing. And like I have like a pile of notebooks from like the courses and stuff, and like and maybe I you know read it every once in a while or I never use it. But I mean, just like this being in it and just experiencing, getting impressions, being dedicated. But this only comes out of passion. It doesn't come out of yeah. I mean, passion is a good starter, and I have to reignite it because dedication and commitment and responsibility without passion, it just becomes too heavy to carry. But passion kind of gives it the fuel. And for me, passion comes from inspiration, definitely. Um, so yeah, if I'm inspired, I can write like a book in like 2 days. Uh, but then if I wrote like 2/3 of the book and I have to finish it next week, it might be like an unfinished book forever.
Now, going back a little bit, like, so you entered ILM method being a
Yeah.
translator, and then once you entered, what was your experience like? Um, like, how did you feel when you first got your treatment, and what did it feel to start treating?
Well, I think uh, I was very lucky actually. Um, I started like a few lessons like into the course already because I wasn't sure, and for those who know me, it might be funny, but the first I just got there, we just started practicing, and I was like in 2 minutes I already started telling the guy like maybe you should do it like this, maybe you should do it like that. Uh, um, and I didn't know what the hell we're doing anyway, but it felt very natural to me. My partner at the time, she was like, she was a Feldenkrais teacher and a trapeze artist, which is a very interesting combination. And I learned a lot from her during the course and before. And um, I don't know, everything seemed very natural to me. The whole premise, the whole approach, everything that's happening, seeing movement going through the body, everything made sense to me from the get-go. So I was like, just give me as much as you can, like just give me more. I was very, very curious and passionate, and I remember like making a point for myself to not start writing for I think the first month or two. I'm not sure, to just experience. And I was like, you'll know when the time to start writing, because I wanted to just experience. And I even made myself this all through the course of the first year, and not to write until the next day.
Oh wow!
So I'll just write what I remember, not like too much, and to trust the experience to stay with me, and not to try like to accumulate too many things, because it just gets heavy and it doesn't really work. I really trusted this kind of way of working, and Ilan was talking about it also, just something of that sort, not necessarily in the context of writing, but in the context of the direct experience. So I was definitely ready for that kind of thing. And I was, oh, now everybody's going to find out about my cheat sheet. Um, so because I was late, I needed to get some private lessons to complete the stuff I missed out on. So as it happened, the assistant I ended up learning with was Moran. Shout out to Moran. You know Moran, actually. You met her, maybe. Yeah. She hasn't been around for some time, but she's definitely the best. And we found out that her husband, Yitzhak, is actually like kind of an acquaintance of me through the music thing from a friend. And long story short, I gave him a private lesson in music every week, and she gave me a private class in ILM every week for the whole first year.
Wow!
Incredible!
Wow!
It was just like the luckiest thing ever. Oh my God.
Wow.
So I would come to her, I'm like, sometimes like, oh my God, the thing, how do you do it? It's so painful, I can't do it. And she's like, okay, let's look into it, you know. Or I was like, okay, this week I just want to learn about spirals. Tell me everything you know about spirals. And she's like, oh, I never thought about that. Okay, yeah, let's see. All kinds of stuff. But it was a very lucky kind of, I'm glad I took my time in signing up, so I had to do the private lessons, and everything just fell into place. Yeah, for me, the first year and the course was like definitely life changing, as I've heard quite a few people say.
Did you feel that in a sense of more physical or emotional, psychological, or just everything together? Like, does one kind of stand out more than the other, or?
That's a good question. I think everything together, but just maybe some more specific things will come to mind later on, but just broadly speaking, it felt like I found a bridge between this and that, these things I was talking about before, and the concrete bridge, in the sense of something that manifests in reality in the simplest way possible and in the clearest way possible, but is derived and inspired by the most unexplainable, untouchable, yet experienceable things you can talk about. And everything in between, because it's kind of a gradient. It goes through this, from the infinite abstract to kind of the movement goes into the body. I think this is one of the very nice insights I had. And whenever I'm about to say an insight I had, I have this feeling like everybody already got it except for me, and I'm just the last one. I always have this feeling that the movement is not the body. And I think that's very clear and very simple, but it's also very kind of, oh, wow. Like there's a body and there's movement, and the way something goes into something and it becomes, yeah.
Wow.
I think how magic can be focused through a person and become like things. So it's like for me, I think that was a big thing, and under that kind of feeling, yes, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, I was ready to take on a new phase in my own journey, and that seemed like exactly what I wanted to do and the way I wanted to do it. And my course, wow, we were so learny. Like if you look at the videos, we're always on time and like just like around the bed looking and like very quiet, and it was the best.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody was so dedicated, or at least generally like the feeling was such. Every course has its like own kind of flavor and thing. and for me it was like a very scholarly course in a way. Everyone like, I mean, that was my experience. Maybe it was just like me and two other people.
Enough people to feel the focus, I
Yeah,
guess.
I love it. I love it, and that's how I felt when I met you, by the way. Like that. Again, we spoke about this lately when we were scheduling that we don't really know each other. We met like a time and a half or something.
Which
Um,
until you mentioned it, I totally didn't recognize it. It was so, uh, it was so surprising to be like, oh yeah. But I see actually, I think more because you're on all the videos.
yeah, I am. Sometimes I go into the archive and I'm like, yeah, let's look at. Oh, it's me again. Oh, never mind. Let's see something else. Just sometimes it's nice, but it is what it is.
And through your like learning, because I feel like you're one of the, I think, and I think it's true that you're one of the like people who work with closely with Elon quite frequently these days.
Mm.
From being in a more of a like a group to maybe closer with Elon or closer with other people, maybe also because you're also a mentor to many, like to be the mentor to new practitioners, being the assistants, like um, yeah, has anything shifted within you, or is it always just evolve? I don't know if I'm being very clear at all, but
Go again. I'm with you, but go again.
yeah,
Yeah.
just curious of like, um, because first when you entered, you were curious about treating and helping others, and did that shift in any way or expand in any way that's was surprising for you, or
Mm. Mm. Okay, so
unexpected maybe, or
let me st- ask you if I got you right. Uh, are you asking that if being more and more involved on a professional level and actually making this thing my life in many ways has like influenced the way I approach it or the way I find myself in it?
both,
Or did
both.
you? Okay. Yeah, yeah. I would say that definitely yes. Um, over and over again. Um, uh, um, yeah, it's true. I've been working with Elon closely for some years on the homework thing, that which I think some of it became now the self-treatment and some of it became other stuff. And then for the last few years, I've been working more with Yaniv in the basic course. And, and now actually there's a new thing which we spoke about. Maybe now is a good time to mention it for the first time about the internship thing that I'm working with Elon again to uh, give it lots of life and lots of good things are coming in that sense that we're working on. Um,
I'm actually
so,
really excited that we have this conversation because in a recent group WhatsApp for the recent graduate of the Polish course,
uh-huh.
people got were just advised to contact you for the, or maybe it was among the team, but somebody mentioned, oh, Tal is in charge of the internship, or you should contact him.
Mm.
And then one of the person went, which Tal?
Fair
So
enough.
now
Fair
you're
enough.
like, it's this Tal.
Talji. Uh, yeah. So that was just like a general kind of what I've been kind of doing. I mean, I've been very involved in the school activities. I did like many things, uh, yeah, those maybe the main cooperations I would say in regards to what you were asking, and definitely for me, um, I think anyway, personal relationships and work relationships are a challenge, I think, for everyone, for me in some way. So I'm not different in that. And it's always something you can take on or give up. And I try to take on, especially if something means a lot to me and I see an opportunity to learn something about myself. So challenges, yeah, there were definitely challenges. There are still, and it's okay. And I am learning about myself, and about all kinds of things. And there's other thing about when you do something that you love and then it becomes your job, there's always something, there's always like a catch that you have to kind of reignite the inspiration to avoid it. It happens with music, it happens with treating, it happens with relationships, it happens with everything, basically. And for me, this definitely happens, you know, even just tweeting. Sometimes I get so bored, and sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I'm doing like the most amazing thing in the world. And it is what it is. And when I get bored, I know I need to get inspired. And sometimes it's by meeting other practitioners or like visiting the course or like practicing with someone or just going for a walk in nature or like writing a song or like giving up. Yeah, like giving up or something. And it's such a funny thing when inspiration comes back, everything changes. Or let's say not comes back, but comes for a visit. So for me, yeah, it's a challenge. I'm not sure I did answer your question completely because I felt there was something more about the professional thing there, but you can refresh my memory. There was one more thing I wanted to say. Okay, that I found myself many times, and whenever people have a crisis of their own, or just like a dilemma, where I kind of try to tell them the same, I found myself many times looking for the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, that has no dependency on anyone else or what I'm getting or what people think about me or all the things that matter to some extent and don't matter to other extents, but definitely are a part of our lives. And in regards specifically to the ILM, like, and inspiration, I would find that inevitably I have to reconnect with just like the core where I meet the things before they are defined, before they have names, before they belong to anyone, and renew that relationship. Carlos Castaneda called it polishing your connection with the spirit. So maybe it's something of that sort, but it could be also something simpler, like just why am I here? Why did I come here in the first place? And is that still valid, or is there anything else that is driving me that is not like, you know, in a broader circle of like being human? Like, so for me, the more I got into the professional side of things, the more I needed to ask myself that question. And I think it's a great question because it really sheds off of you more and more and more things that, again, I think are very important. It's not like, you know, I'm quoting but all the time, but okay. Like Neil Young said something I love. He said, all my problems are meaningless, but I don't make them go away. So it's something of that sort, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I think for me the thing about the professional thing, that to kind of revisit yourself about your deepest intentions and connections, and then see how it works out with whatever's around you. And it doesn't have to, but then you have a little bit of a clearer view and you have your own path in front of you. Yeah.
So do you find actually all the different music, the clinical work, the mentorship, working with Elon, in various aspects of your work and practice, do you find that it's all juggled to kind of complement or like to inspire each other, or do you find that juggle sometimes like a juggle?
Well, I think it's both. I think we all know when you do like a bunch of stuff, sometimes it's very refreshing and sometimes just too much shit. uh, so I think, but I would say that as I mature, which is a much better way of saying grow older because it encapsulates in it something else that is not just like chronological. As I mature, I find that I want to look for the new in the existing and not to change all the time. Which is the same thing I was talking about earlier, most of the time. But in regards to what you were asking, meaning that things nourish each other, but I need to refine or to go deeper or to go somewhere else in the things to make them fresh. Elon talks about it all the time, and I find it very true for me. Instead of changing all the time, instead of like moving to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and it's a tricky kind of thing I'm saying, and I'll give you an example. Let's say you play a certain kind of music, and you're like, no, I'm not good at this kind of music. I'm going to try another kind, another kind, another kind, another kind. But eventually, you have to find yourself in some kind and go deep with that. And there you will find new things, but maybe not new. It's like getting married. Or getting married again and again and again and again. Maybe that's an easier example. I'm not married.
That's a lot of perfect example.
Yeah, it's I think very easy to understand the the thing I'm trying to say. Yeah. So for me, the juggling thing, it needs refreshing, and I like the variety, but I also try to keep it in a way that I can go deep and not just like refresh all the time by getting remarried. Yeah.
And just before last question, I guess, what's your most like forwarded? Sorry, no, going back. Yeah, what are you playing with now that excites you at this moment, or excited about, or what's like that you're chewing that feels tasty?
That's a good question. Lately, I can't think of anything, honestly, that really excites me. I have gone into working with some very, very, very interesting patients with um, severe brain damage that are like on the verge of um, unconscious. yeah, or something in that twilight zone. And so, because I was thinking of the word exciting, it's not really exciting, even though the first time I started this project, I was like, this is a dream come true for me.
Right.
I was actually really thinking about that last year, that that's something I want to do, because it's very interesting to me and very challenging, and it's a very interesting way to also kind of practice and see what I can do and what I can learn. And so I wouldn't say exactly excited, because it's quite a handful in many ways, but it's, yeah, it's thrilling, and it's quite a thing, and it's crazy stuff. Yeah. So I've been there lately, and I've been honestly sometimes very surprised and many times very frustrated. Um, and it's fine. It's definitely fine, and it's been just so interesting, so interesting,
Interesting.
and so rewarding, and so challenging. Yeah, yeah, we can talk about that maybe some other time in more detail, but it's also kind of a new thing, and I don't know what I can say about it at the moment. So that's something that's very interesting to me at the moment. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And another actually very exciting thing is that I'm learning Feldenkrais.
Yes.
And I'm super excited about it. That's very exciting to me. And this could be a big thing or whatever. I don't care. Like, everybody can have their own opinion. It's fine. Um, and it's just very interesting to me. And sometimes things seem very connected, and sometimes they seem like the opposite, and sometimes I have these insights, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that seems very doesn't make sense, and blah 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 blah. But I find it very very exciting, and one of the really nice things I like about it is that, personally for me, it gives me more ways to feel myself, and that's something that's very healing to me. And yeah, yeah,
Wow. That's amazing how like you enter ILM because the course was 9 months and now suddenly the journey.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, it wasn't 9 months; it's almost 10 years now. But yeah, I mean, I got in and I just fell in love. So
Right.
yeah, it's easy when you fall in love.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I just want to be mindful of the time, and but is there
Sure.
anything you wish to share before we wrap up? And
Wow, no, just to say thank you. Like, it took me like 5 seconds to forget other people are listening to us. So thank you for your incorporating, wise moderating, and for your invitation.
thank you.
Yeah, and it's great you're doing these conversations. I've watched a few, and it's really great.
Well, it's also fun for me to get to connect to you and other practitioners outside of the studio, because as you know, maybe I can get a little bit like this in the studio.
Yeah.
So just to get to know each other, it's really nice.
Yeah, for that's really great. I feel the same. I think like it's the first time we had like a tea together or
Yeah,
coffee.
it's true. Crazy after like how many years?
What?
It's like after how many years? I think at least 6.
Something, yeah, wow.
Because I met you 2019.
Yeah, in the movement course, right?
movement course.
Yeah. I remember hearing you from the side. Cha, 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 cha. I was like, yeah.
I have a like really vivid memory of like the support you gave me during the course because I remember I think I led one of the movement and I got a feedback from people in my group saying that was too crazy, too fast, like too much information and not clear, and I was like, oh gosh. And then I remember you coming to me and saying like, but you made others who couldn't. One of the people in my group who couldn't do certain movement were able to do certain movements. So you encouraged me to that it was good to put more information or as I did, and it was just nice to hear both end of the feedback to know that both can exist. And that was really grounding to feel like, okay, I layered on wishing for that, so it achieved that, and then maybe for some people it was too much, too fast, and it's okay.
Yeah, this is super interesting. That's a cool thing to mention. Yeah, it's because I think it's so interesting to see what people think happens and what actually happens.
Right, right. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
And before we wrap, where people can find you?
Yeah.
If they want to reach you.
I think around here. Oh, by the way, uh,
I love
uh,
this is
Nessa
Nessa.
did this. Yeah.
I was actually noticing the Picassos because this is one of my favorite painting, but
It's Nessa next to Picasso. Yeah. Yeah, it's a gift. Thanks, Nessa. Love you. Yeah.
Nessa. Wow, that's nice.
Picasso, Nessa, and window. That's also important. Um, where people can find me? Well, I'm really not like on the social networks so much. As you know, I just downloaded Instagram at the moment, so we can have this conversation. But I'm on the website, and I'm definitely in all the videos.
For those who are practitioners, though,
Yeah,
maybe other things.
and yeah, it's easy to find me if people want to, and yeah,
Beautiful.
in Tel Aviv, everybody's welcome. Yeah.
And also, you travel a lot, but is that mainly for the music or?
Well, I've been in Germany a few times for a workshop. At some point, Maxi, Maximilian, and I, hey Maxi, decided to venture on doing some things on our own, and we had 3 workshops. One with Kasia, hey Kasia, um, um, and one was in Hamburg, one with Kasia in Berlin, and there was another one in Berlin, and that was a nice venture, and I've learned a lot from it. So I was traveling for that, but also my sister lives in Berlin, so I was there anyway. And at the moment, I'm traveling for music. Actually, I'm playing in a band in Germany, and every once in a while, we're going to have a tour. So I just came back from there. But yeah, I was traveling, I think, for those kind of things, and mainly to visit my sister, I think. Yeah.
Very nice.
I really want to get to Toronto. I love Canada. I lived in Montreal for some time. I'm not sure we ever spoke about.
No, you mentioned this.
Yeah, Toronto's on my mind.
It's here.
Yeah, so we can have another coffee over there, definitely.
Yeah, good. Or somewhere else.
Or somewhere else.
Hopefully in real person.
Definitely.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Tal, for your time and for your sharing and
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. I had a great time. I didn't expect myself to say all these things, so I think it's good.
Yeah. Well, see you soon then. This
See
somewhere.
you soon. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.